Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, Colic crew.
Ooh.
Jessica and I
are in Los Angeles, California.
We're
together.
We're together.
There's nothing virtual about this. This is straight up together forever.
I feel like they're feeling the chemistry just listening.
I'm feeling it. I'm feeling the chemistry. This is sort of a big week, right? We just had the presidential debates. The VMAs are this weekend. The Emmys are this weekend. There's just Los Angeles is a buzz.
Well, what happened is you landed in LA to it literally timed out with something huge that happened, which we have to talk about.
Yes, for sure. So, well, the headline would be the presidential debate. The aftermath was that Taylor Swift took to social media to say who she was going to cast her vote for. In a very eloquent post, I might add. That lady's got a way with words. I found, what did you think of the post?
Well, first off, if I were her, I would have done it too, where I posted with the picture of a cat and then signed off like childless cat lady.
Yeah.
I thought that was
got a sense of humor.
Obviously genius. And we all know what that's referring to. I thought it was incredible because I thought that she said who she was going to vote for, Kamala Harris, but she also encouraged everyone to do their research.
Yep.
Talked about how you can register early for voting.
Yep.
And gave all the information within her reveal of who she was voting for, which is so important because people need to still be educated on how to do all those things.
Yes. And obviously it was, she's an incredibly, well-respected human being on the planet. And so she knew, my guess is that she knew that expressing her opinion would certainly be of influence. I too loved that, likely knowing what her power is in just everyone's mind right now. I loved that the most important and first thing she said was that you need to do your research.
Yes.
And that everybody gets a vote. And that you need to register to vote. And for first-time voters, make sure you're registered and and vote early. I mean, I just loved the that while she was saying who she was going to vote for, the post felt very inclusive to just voters in general.
That's what I like
too. Encouraging voting, being a part of the process, having your voice be heard. And then she was telling us who her pick was. So I thought that the whole thing was beautiful and very, very well executed. So yay, Taylor Swift.
Yay, Taylor Swift.
Yay, Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift for the win. And then again, she's just so funny, like childless cat lady. Like, take that, JD Vance.
Was there any other picture to post? There's no other picture to post. You had to post the gorgeous photo shoot from the cat, with the cat. I can't.
I know. It was great. And then she's not performing at the VMAs, but she's going to be there. In addition to having a big week, just in general here in Los Angeles, California, we have a guest that I am a super fan of. I think I can say that with absolute authority. She sings, she dances, she's
a triple threat. She acts.
Yeah, she acts.
She's on,
She inspires me to exercise.
I watch her exercise and then I think about exercising. I consider it.
I look at her and I look at her fitness level and what she's capable of and how she uses her body. Yeah. And I just I'm quite frankly, I'm in awe of it. And so please, please, please welcome Julianne Hough.
Hello.
With that haircut. It's just so chic.
Okay, I have to tell you. Okay, hi, welcome to Call It What It Is. Jessica has been talking about your haircut all morning. Mm-hmm. She wants to go straight from here to the hairdressers and get it done.
I mean, I think you should. There's something about short hair that, like, it's for the woman, right? Because, like, your partner loves long hair and all that stuff. But I'm like, having short hair is like, I feel the most free, the most sassy, the most confident I ever feel when I have short hair. So go do it. Chop it off.
And you know what? Let me just say that from the outside watching you, it looks like it. I don't even know where to start, but let's just talk about the fact that you are singing and writing and dancing. And I mean, it's
we want to know what you don't do.
Yeah.
Is there something that you're just is there something you're terrible at? What is the thing that you were absolutely terrible at?
You know, I am terrible at throwing and catching things.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like sports is not my jam. Like
Uh-huh.
I like wish that I could catch a ball or like play volleyball. Like you do not want to pick me on your team.
You two have met.
We just met this summer. But
I can't believe that it's taken that long though, because I feel like we have so many mutual friends
yeah,
and yeah,
yeah.
it's crazy.
Well, you also just probably felt my energy, just like watch. Again,
Well, you
we've
just
been social relationships where you watch someone and you think that
Yes.
you're a part of their life.
It's very true.
So
Yeah,
when I saw you this summer, I was like, "Oh yeah, hi, we're friends. We know each other.
absolutely are.
I know where you were last week, and you don't even need to rely on paparazzi anymore. Although, see,
No.
you actually have what you choose to post, and then you also have paparazzi.
I mean, yes, but also like I don't feel like the paparazzi game is as strong as it was 10 years ago, which
No.
I'm grateful for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then the double-edged sword to that is you almost feel like social media is now another job and career that you like do.
Fully.
And so you're like, wait, I didn't sign up for this job,
Yeah.
but I have it now. Wait, what?
I
And it
feel
feels
exactly the
like and it
same
feels
way.
like a full-time job.
It does.
It is. It is.
Yeah, you
So-
almost feel like in your workday you haven't checked the box until you've like either posted or strategized about the post. Sorry, I'm giving away how the sausage is made, but it's like there's thought that goes into
Of
it.
course.
And there's
it's its own business.
Well, I think for people listening, I'm sure they're probably even better at it than like I am because like I feel like it's not my second nature. And I look at amazing influencers that I'm like, wow, I am so blown away by your ability to like be structured and strategic and like you're all marketers. Like you're amazing.
Yeah.
And like I like wish I had that skill set.
Yeah, no, I know. Well, we talk a lot about my personal relationship with balance, right? Like how do we balance all of these things? And I have said time and time again, because it is my truth, that I don't ever actually feel like I'm balancing anything. On any given day, I'm sort of better at one thing than another. For you right now, because it just really does seem like you're doing it all.
Yeah.
How do you negotiate that? Like, is there balance in your day?
There isn't true like just balance. Like that's made up and trying to be perfect and there's no way. So when I think about it, I'm like it's just day to day being present in that moment because I feel like I was just on my book tour for Everything We Never Knew and it's like I'm not going to be balanced during that week because week is I'm up at 3:30 in the morning. I'm doing press. I'm, pounding some caffeine and doing what I need to do, And then, but I think what I'm trying to do is during that press week, even though I know it's not going to be balanced, like how can I actually just enjoy the moment and take it in? Because I can't go for a run or I don't have the time to do my journaling and stuff like that, So like, how can I just take in the moment and be very present and enjoy the moment. And then when I'm done with it, like reflect on it and like take some time to let it integrate versus just like on to the next thing, So
Yeah.
I think that's what I try to do more so of like
It's harder said than done, though.
completely-
It's really hard to be.
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy? That it's hard to be present.
Of course. Well, I actually, yeah, I get that. Again, I saw you this summer and I got your book and I read it and it's so wonderful. And I highly recommend it to anyone who has not already bought it or downloaded it or anything like that. Hats off to you. Because of course because I think probably like many people, there was this book and it had your name on it and I was like, but she can't write books too. Come on.
Well, it's funny. I mean, like what has been kind of confusing, I think, for a lot of people is, and even for myself, is like, how do I identify myself? Like, am I a dancer, an actor, a singer, and an entrepreneur? And then I was like, no, I'm a storyteller. Like, I like telling stories, and whatever medium it is, like, I want to create worlds for people to be able to see themselves in that story and relate to it and have it resonate and have it inspire some sort of activation of self-discovery or I feel seen or wow, like anything is possible. So, I'm 36 now. It's like throughout my 20s, it was all about performing and just trying to like figure out what to do next. And now it's sort of like, what do I want to put out in the world? And what's the through line? Even though I love and I have so many different passions of how it's expressed, like, what am I actually trying to say? And I think it's self-discovery, transformation, healing. Like we all have it within us. And so if people can see that, and that can be my way of contributing, lessons that I've learned along my journey, then let me just do it through any form of storytelling. So, yeah.
Yes. And you are doing that. Is there any medium that has intimidated you more than others? I mean, obviously you come so naturally to dance and you've been doing it for forever, but when when you first got into the recording studio, what was that moment? Were you like, or were you like, yes, or somewhere in between?
I think because all of those things happened at such an early age, I was like fearless then, like I didn't have the years of like, getting rejected in the industry yet, so I just was like going and like fearless, and just it was an exciting time. So, but I think writing this book, it was way more vulnerable because, again, I've spent my years performing and like doing other people's work, and even when I had my music, I didn't write those songs, and so I connected with them, but it didn't come from me. So like this book and this story, it really was like half lived experience, and then I fictionalized it, and it came through my own form of expression versus and more artistry versus performer.
And it's so personal. I mean,
Yeah.
you're trusting people with something that's so, so personal.
Can you tell our listeners what the book is about?
Absolutely. So it's about a woman who seemingly has everything together. She's got the perfect house, perfect marriage, perfect job. And at a banquet one night where she's receiving an award, she goes up on stage and she starts having these supernatural experiences where she sees this man and she sees an aura around him. She starts hearing, a woman's voice saying, "Save him, Henry, save him, help, help." And she starts tasting salt water and feels like she's drowning. And so she's having like all of her senses activated. And then when he leaves, they all go away. And she's like, what just happened to me? And as she's kind of curious about this, she doesn't want to talk about it with her friends or her husband because she also is like, I feel crazy. This is insane. So she goes on this sort of exploration, and she finds this like town witch in the city of where she lives in Gardenvale, and she starts, being mentored by this woman, and she starts doing breath work and meditation and stuff, and thinking that, oh, am I supposed to be healing people because I'm having these experiences where I could have helped this person and they just had something happen to them, but I could have prevented that if I would have listened to these senses. So as she's like trying to cultivate these newfound powers, she realizes, obviously, I can't heal anybody until I heal myself. And so she goes on this journey of healing for herself. And it's very, heightened fantasy. So it's her healing through the natural elements, earth, fire, water, and air. And so she uses the elements to help her on her own healing journey. And it's very
so
visual.
creative. I mean, the way that you did it, just so creative, and so many different, modalities of understanding and sense and all that. And then, listen, I don't want to give it away, but it's just, it's so wonderful.
Thank you.
What part of it was inspired by your life? Are you able to say like specifics?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think the thematics, like her journey, she was avoiding a lot of like pain, and she suppressed a lot of things. So like, I've talked openly about it, but I had violation happen to me as a child. And so she also has that in the book that she has to address, and with her family system. And that's the earth lesson that she goes through, which is like her roots and the family dynamics. Water is obviously the grief and the loss and being able to have the emotions come through. Her fire lesson is about like her visceral, like healthy anger that comes through and standing up for yourself. Air is about using your voice and also standing up for yourself. Those are all universal themes that I think we all experience in certain ways. And I've had my own versions of that. And so instead of, writing an autobiography where people are going to read my story and see me in this story, I wanted to write something where I experienced these themes of loss and grief and abandonment and violation and all these things, but I want the reader to see themselves in the story.
I love
And
that.
and so that they can go on the journey instead of, oh, this is Julianne's story. No, this is all of our story. We all
Yeah.
go through a hero's journey. We all experience a lot of the same emotions in our life. We just have different circumstances of how we've experienced it. So that was my reason for writing it as a fiction. But I definitely, and then I also had some supernatural experiences at the time when I was having like this, for lack of better, words or a sentence, my spiritual awakening. And it like popped open this like next layer of healing that I went through. And so I was like, well, this is a great way for, it doesn't have to be so heavy.
Yeah.
When you go through a healing journey, it can be really powerful and amazing and mystical and magical.
Yes.
And
And was the shared experience voices?
So mine, I'm a very kinesthetic person. So I feel a lot of things. And even, I don't know if you know about like synesthesia. It's like where if you can smell color or like you can
Yeah.
feel
Yes, yes.
sound. It's
Yes.
like I'm
So
such
fascinating.
a feeler. So like I wouldn't actually see like pink around somebody, but I knew it was pink around them. I could feel that there was pink and like I could sense that that was the color, or, I could smell
Oof.
and I could hear, just intuitive knowing. And so
You had that your whole life, or you had that during your
An
healing,
awakening.
your
it was
awakening?
it was during that sort of,
Have you ever connected with Laura Lynn Jackson?
I haven't, no.
Oh, Laura Lynn
Who's
Jackson.
that?
I also met through Amy Griffin.
Oh, okay.
She wrote a book called Signs.
Okay.
And she is a medium, and it does a lot of oral work, and is just fascinating and just an incredibly just
Yeah.
insane. And I had a reading with her, and it was pretty mind blowing.
I mean, look, I have always felt like that's been a part of my family. My mom like would literally like look at us and be like, I think you have strep throat, or like
Yeah.
she would, or like she'd look into my eyes, or she would like rub my feet and I'd be like, ow. And she'd like, ooh, something's wrong with your kidney. Like my
Yeah.
mom's sort of like a medical
Wow.
medium. She just knew as well.
It's
Or
just that witchy. I feel like there's like
Yeah.
witchiness
Yeah.
in our, and do you have that too, where sometimes you ever, well, do you feel like you do? Do you have like the witchy?
absolutely do.
Yeah,
And
me
and I feel like everybody has it. I think it's more just, and that's
Yeah,
what
are
the
you?
book is, which is like because of our childhood, we're so connected, right? But then we build up layers of protection
Yeah.
to fit into,
It's necessary, adaptive.
for your wounds. Like I want to belong. So I'm going to put this layer of protection on me
Yeah.
so that I fit in, and so we get further and further away from that, or we get further and further closed off to what's possible. And so this whole book is about delayering all of those conditions and patterns and beliefs to like get back to this, really open channel and vessel of what's possible.
I think
Which takes a lot of trust, because the armoring up is what keeps us safe, right? Or you are brave enough to take the armor off and use your own knowing and your own words and your own voices to say what you need to say.
in your 20s, like I turned 40, I feel like I peel off more the older I get.
Yeah.
1,000%.
yeah.
I feel like it's
I'm
all
more
about
brave.
like learning, you're like building up all these layers and then it's all about taking them away.
Yeah, I
You
know.
know?
Well, a
Yeah.
friend of mine calls it the upgrades. Like every birthday
Yeah.
brings an upgrade, and you sort of like reboot the system, and you find yourself, a little more trusting, a little more
Totally. Well, and I
available.
think that those, like what you were just saying about armor, it's like that comes from a place of defense versus like offense. It's like defense is like, I'm going to say no and protect myself this way. But like when you're connected to your truth, you can say no from a very healthy place. That's not about being in a defensive place. It's just a no before you have to be in a defensive place.
Going back to being present, you don't know when you're going to get there. It's
Yeah.
sort of this silent upgrade. Like, I think you do your work. I think everybody needs to be doing their work. I think a lot of times when I feel like I'm doing extra work in a relationship, it might be because the other person isn't. I'm like, can you do the work too, please? Because this is
that's a whole other situation.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm doing work for the both of us, and while I can, I don't want to.
Totally.
It's enough to do it for yourself.
Meet me where I'm at. That would be great.
Yeah. But just even what you just said, we're recently just feeling like in times where my expectations or my hopes or my desires are in conflict with someone else's, instead of being defensive or having it be a thing, I can really sit and be present and be like, I see how you see it. And no.
Yeah. And that's okay. We don't have to be in the same spot. And like, I don't have to now win you over and adapt to be what you need to be so that we shift our energy to match. No, I'm going to stay where I'm at. And if we don't match, it's just a not matching situation. It's not right or wrong.
God, I feel like I spent so much of my 20s trying to do exactly that, trying to match other people's energy.
Yeah.
Which is exhausting and just not, it doesn't work.
Yes, and then sort of in the silent hours of the night, you find yourself asking yourself, like, what do I want? And the more that you act like that, the further you get from what do I want and being able to answer it.
Yes.
Like, you're like, oh, I want what, I mean, we talk about all the time with, social media. It's like, I want what that person has, or that person has a better life, or that person has whatever. And you compare, and like comparison is just the thief of joy and honesty. Cause it's like, what do I want? Maybe I want that. Maybe I actually don't. Maybe I just got carried away in the moment.
Yeah. And that's okay. Like, that's what I always like think about too, is like, you don't know what you don't know until you know it. And so everybody's doing the best that they can. But once you get like an insight of like, wow, I really trust myself. Like, you can't go back. Even when your patterns try to come back in and you almost slip up and try to like, you repeat something, you're like, wait, I can't do this anymore.
You cannot unring
and
that
like,
bell.
And it's hard because you're so familiar with doing it a certain way for so long that you think that that's what feels safe when it's actually not the right thing,
Yeah, it's just a pattern.
Yeah.
You seem like you're in the most incredible place.
You're so sweet. I mean,
what is that like? I mean, new relationships and being in this space.
Yeah, I do feel that. And I think that like even some of my relationships from my past are coming back around, and things sometimes shift. And
is
then
it Ryan Seacrest? Sorry, I just have to say it because I mean, because I was a really big fan of you guys. I shipped you.
Well, no,
here's
I'm
sorry.
I'm going to be honest. Here's what happened. We walked in this morning. Everyone knew we were going to talk to you, and we are at iHeart in Burbank. Everyone here, the entire building, would like you to get back with Ryan Seacrest. So we're like, we're even the security guy. We're like walking through, and he is like, are they getting back together? And I'm like, I don't know. We can ask.
This is really funny. Clearly,
you have super fans over here.
No, clearly people are interested in that. So
not interested. I mean, it's like it's like they're shipping it like you're a TV couple.
Exactly. But I mean, like truly, like on Grey's Anatomy, well, obviously it was a fake not fake, but it was a imagined relationship. Yeah. But I too, I mean, I can't tell you how many times. And by the way, it was an imagined relationship, and people were coming up to me and being like, but just why? Like, why aren't you together? I'd be like, well, first of all, I'm not her.
Yeah.
Second of all, that's a question for someone above my pay grade. You really need to talk to a writer about that.
I'm curious, was there a moment that you felt started your healing journey where you're like, I got to take care of this?
I mean, there wasn't like it was more like back in 2013, I went to a Tony Robbins seminar, and that was like the beginning of like my cognitive awareness of like belief systems. And I was like, wow, like I had a totally different belief. Like, my whole drive and ambition to do what I did was basically to say F you to certain people and say, watch me because you said I couldn't. Like, that got me really far, but that's not sustainable. They still had the power. You know what I mean? Like, And
Yeah.
so when I figured that out at like 25, I was like, whoa, I had to like re-fall in love with what I did from a
You
place.
figured that out at 25? I
Yeah.
figured that out like last year.
Yesterday.
I feel like
She figured it out yesterday.
And so
still figuring it out.
that was back in 2013. So that shifted my whole like perspective of like why I do what I do. And I lost my motivation for a few years because I was like, I don't know what's driving me. There's a
Yeah, well, that can sometimes be a result of a saying that I like to pull out of my back pocket all the time, which is oftentimes when I feel very overwhelmed and I don't know what I want to do, and I'm looking at everybody else like, what does everybody else want and need, and I want to make it all good and fix and please and all this stuff, and I'm like, hold on. I am setting myself on fire to keep everybody else warm. And I will no longer exist if I allow this to continue.
Yes.
And you have to have a real diligence. You have to have a real discipline with yourself and with your thoughts, because oftentimes I think also these thoughts become habits more than actual real feelings. And we just sort of, we habituate them and then we fall right back into them. Okay, we have to talk about Dancing with the Stars.
Yes, absolutely.
I love it. And I came to it late.
You did?
My translator.
I was a day oneer.
I was not a day oneer.
You weren't a day oneer. When did you?
I was a day oneer.
My kids brought me into it.
Amazing.
So the girls, Eve and Poppy and Josephine, started watching it, and they were probably, I don't know, maybe like 6 or 7 episodes in. And I just always feel like when they're watching something is when I'm like getting stuff done. So it's like, okay, they're fine. And I must have just like put my feet up on the couch and was like, what are you watching?
Yeah.
And I was fully hooked. And then managed to, because all the seasons are just sitting there right at wherever you stream things. We went back, we went forwards, we went to just different performances. We did actually rewatch the finale, Poppy and I did, in preparation. But she is so excited, and they just loved you last season, and it looked so exciting. We really liked the outfit with the hood thing.
Oh, yeah.
All of it was just fucking on fire. You ate that up.
Well, by the way, you have to come to the show then.
Don't. My whole body
Wait,
just got
what?
I'm coming.
Bring Poppy, and like we're gonna have a blast. I don't know like what she's into, so like there's different themes each week, and so pick now that you guys are fans, like there's like most memorable week, which is like all the backstories. There's Disney week.
I know Disney
Taylor
week.
Swift
I
week.
love a Disney week.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, there is no way in the world that I'm not taking you up on that. You might just open up your trailer door and I'll just be sitting there.
You might end up on it.
Yeah.
You're gonna end up on it.
Okay. Yeah, you should go on it.
Dancing might be my kryptonite, and here's the most unjust.
But by the way, those are the people that I want to
Go
see.
so far. But by the way, talk about what I was saying earlier about like my through line. It's like I want to tell stories of transformation and self-discovery. People think this is a dance show. It's not a dance show.
Are you saying you want to transform me,
show.
Julianne?
And it's like
I'm ready to be transformed.
What's like on the inside and your confidence and like feeling alive and sexy and like, it's so fun. It is.
Well, I think the unjust part is that in my mind, I am a phenomenal dancer. In my mind, I'm a phenomenal singer. And then when I go to do the thing, I'm really glad there's no cameras around, because I can still think I'm great and not be great at the same time.
I want to know how because there's only so many spots, right? How did you and your brother end up on it? That's so wild.
So obviously my brother and I, we competed in London, and we trained our whole lives basically to do what we do. And when I moved back, my brother still stayed in London, and my dance partner was there too, Mark Ballas. And I came out to LA to act and to sing, and I wasn't planning on dancing, but I obviously needed to pay my rent. And so I would do these little dancing jobs for commercials or whatever. And I got offered to go on the Dancing with the Stars tour as a company dancer when I was 18. And when I was on the tour, the producers of the show saw me, asked me to be on the show. I said no, because like, I want to be a respected actress and singer.
Yeah.
Like if I go on a reality show, like I'm going to have a certain, narrative of that, and I'm never going to be able to act. And then at the time I was like, there's 20 million viewers watching this show every single week. It's more than a reality show. It's a competition show. Like there's real talent. It's my skill set. I was like, I do need to pay my rent. So
Yeah.
so I went on the show in season 4 and I like told them about my brother and like Mark, and they ended up reaching out and he came the season after that. So
By the way, that is a story of you certainly showing them. I mean, going on a show like that and doing what you've done and wanting to be an actor and finding your way there through that is just incredible.
well, and I think that, okay, so again, that was when I was 18, and when I was 25 is when I figured out the other part of like, I'm doing this for everybody. I got to find it within myself. And I had this mindset that like, if I did this, I can't do that. But the truth is we can do whatever we want and we have the power to have our own narrative. And yes, there are certain pathways that people take because that's how it was done. But the people that create new pathways are the ones that you end up following as a role model or, as a model of how to get to the next place. And so I was like, I'll just do it different, like,
Yeah.
and it hasn't been easy because again, people are like, wait, what does she do? But the thing with Dancing with the Stars is like, I am so grateful for the show and like just everything that it has like brought to my life is like an embarrassment of riches. Like I am so blessed to be a part of this show.
It reminds me that I was just telling the story the other day that when I first graduated college and I came out to Los Angeles to be an actress, and yes, I need to pay my bills too. And I was like, well, and everybody was doing, movies, and they were doing either like studio movies or they were doing indie movies, but it was all movies. And 3 months of auditioning and I hadn't gotten anything. And I was like, 3 months, by the way, it was like a second. And I was like, I'm a failure. It's all over. I should just go. I'm hanging up and I'm hanging it up. But I remember my agent saying, well, what do you want to do? And I was like, well, I mean, okay, this world does not seem to be welcoming me like I thought it might. And so like, what else could I do? Could I do like television? And they were like, oh, I don't know about television. And I was like, why? And they're like, because, and it was very much like, go to TV because you're the B team. And I was like, you know what I would like to be? I would like to be a paid actor. So if that's who's hiring me, then I'm okay to be on the B team and I'll just work my way up to the A team. And I never drew any lines in the sand. And I'm so grateful that I did because that was what started my career. And I truly went from, I did so many pilots that didn't get picked up, but it was like every year. And it was a world that welcomed me and wanted me there, which felt a whole lot better than a world that was like, you're not good enough. You're not
trying to fit into, right?
Yes. Like, oh my gosh. And back then it was like, you're not skinny enough. You're not pretty enough. You're not tall enough. You're not short enough. You're all the things that I wasn't enough of. And then there was this world that was like, yeah, you are. And it was a really, really, really big difference.
Yeah. Isn't it
the Dancing with the,
like,
yes.
We put like a hierarchy of what's better.
Yeah. It's
like,
a real shame.
It is because like.
It really, really hurts people too. Our whole Call It crew, they write in with the most beautiful and vulnerable submissions. And I would say one of the common themes is like, am I good enough?
1,000%.
And it's really interesting because again, in friendship, you see what other people don't. So part of the reason that this all got born is like, I see this one as like just the best thing that ever happened. She makes me laugh without even talking. She can like move an eyeball.
Well, ditto.
And I'm like, that's the best thing I ever saw. But okay, wait, back to this. I'm sorry, just like deal with me for a second. Okay. Dancing with the Stars. The lineup has been revealed. One of the participants is Anna
Delvey.
Yes.
Yes.
Who I saw a picture of. She is actually still under house arrest. So she has
the bracelet. Listen, some people are so angry about this. I love it.
They are? They're angry?
Some people are not happy. It's controversial.
It's controversial for sure.
It is, but I love it.
I'm so obsessed.
I'm so obsessed, you guys.
I'm so obsessed because
I need her to win. I don't even know who the other contestants are. I don't care. I want her to win. I'm serious. And by the way, she could be deported any second.
Oh my gosh, stop it. What if the police showed up?
She had to
They might. I don't know.
She had to get permission from immigration.
It's pretty, talk about controversy, but again, in a way that like allows people to show their most, true self. So this is a great opportunity for her. But I just love it so much because I was obsessed with the show and Julia Garner just crushed it. And
Oh my gosh, yes.
there's so much fun to be had with it. And like she plays into it, which like
yeah, she does.
Are
she
they gonna bedazzle the house arrest thing, that ankle bracelet?
They already did. I saw it on Instagram yesterday. Yeah,
I called it.
Oh, I know.
You guys, I cannot.
But wait, could she take it off for them to do that, or did she have to be there?
No, she cannot take it off. She has to capture.
So my favorite though is
sending it into Michael's to be bedazzled. No,
my favorite thing though is like, speaking of like wanting to like fit in, right? Whenever she says I have a great outfit on, because I've seen her like 2 or 3 times now, I'm like, oh my gosh.
Oh no, you definitely do. We know from the Shonda show that she has opinions.
You don't look poor, like,
Yeah, you're like poor. So you are not looking poor. I love it.
Not
yes,
looking poor.
You're not looking poor. Oh my god. Do you still get nervous or no? Are you? You're not nervous at all anymore.
I mean, with anything that I do, I have those butterfly tingly feelings. Yeah. Obviously, if I don't feel prepared, I get nervous. But with the show, like, because I've literally done every role now. I'm a judge now. I'm hosting. It's like, I know the show so well, and the crew, the camera operators and the lighting and the design and like the costume designer, like everybody has been there for almost, I mean, most people have been there for almost the entire 33 seasons. And so it's like, it's family, and it's actually a healthy family.
I love that.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not like maybe your own family that's dysfunctional. Like, it's a really healthy family.
Well, the story that I'm making up in my mind, given that I've now gotten to spend time with you, is that tracks, right?
Yeah.
You being you and being in the place that you're at and having a healthy family to work with and be in relationship with makes sense to me.
Is it hard working with your own family? I feel like me and my siblings would end up in a huge dance fight.
Shenanigans.
Huge dance
listen,
fight.
Listen, my siblings and I, you have a lot of siblings too. We have a dance off. No, my siblings, they'll be listening right now. We're in a WhatsApp like group chat. You can exit the chat. It's like storming out, right? Someone storms out of our chat every other day. Oh, and then you have to be invited back in. So when it's kind of embarrassing because you have to be like, can I come back in? Even though you've done your own storm out.
I would say about 5 or 6 years ago, that was also like, remember when Marco Polo was like a thing? Do you remember Marco Polo, the app?
Yeah.
And, like, we would send
yes.
So that's when the like people would leave the chat and like not feel included, and it would become a thing. That was like 5 or 6 years ago. And I feel like since then, fortunately, our family, we're on a good streak right now. So
good for you. Yeah, we're not. Yeah. We'll never be. We like arguing. The Ludingtons like to have a little argument
too. So there's always something.
Yes.
It's like,
how many are you?
So I'm the baby of 5 in my blood, but then I also have 9 stepbrothers and sisters, 33 nephews. Like,
I've never
on and on and on. Yeah.
Says you.
I was gonna say, and then remarried. Like, a lot of people are remarried and new families, so it's just it's very blended.
That's wild. I don't usually meet a lot of people that have more than me, but you've got me. You've got me.
How many do you have?
I'm the oldest of 10 with all of the yours, mine, ours, and theirs. We're adopted, half, step, all of the things.
I'm so excited about your book. And everyone, please go out and get it.
Yes.
It sounds incredible.
I feel like people will like connect to it. Also, if you just want a fun like escape too, it's also fun. And then I have music that goes along with coming out too. And
tell us about the music.
Well, the single is out like Spotify and everything. It's same title, Everything We Never Knew. And then I have a song for each one of the lessons that she goes through in the book that are coming out a little bit later. I'm going to do like a second push for the holidays and promote the book again and promote it with the music that's coming out. It kind of just came out of nowhere. I was like, another form of storytelling. And like, some people like to listen.
Incredible.
You know?
Yes.
You're incredible.
You're both incredible. And you're in
Thank you for
LA right now. So
I know. I got here last night and I go back to New York. Well, I stop in Chicago on the way, but I'll be back in New York on Monday. But now is the most beautiful time of year. New York is like, oh.
I'm so sad because I obviously shoot Dancing with the Stars in the fall every season now. So miss the New York fall every year, and I'm so sad.
I know, but you know what? New York spring,
it's also great.
That's what you said.
It snuck up
It's your
on
favorite.
Me. It has turned into maybe even my favorite.
Oh, interesting.
Because speaking of magical, when you really live through the 4 seasons and you've gone through the winter, you're uniquely aware of your surroundings. So you know every spot where there's no foliage, where there's no green, where there's no flowers, there's nothing. And so when they come,
it's like
it is like magic. It's like I literally find myself Googling like, I don't know, a lot of.
Meanwhile, we're sitting here, fall 107 degrees. But tell me more.
I know, right?
I know.
In Los Angeles. Well,
guys.
Thank you so much.
Fun. And I'm going to take you up on the Dancing with the Stars. Poppy and Eve and Josie and I will be in the front row.
Wait, can I come too?
Yes, absolutely.
I just said yes for you.
Yes, everybody come.
All right, we're going to be front row.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Bye, guys. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye.
I got to get the book, and I'm going to tell you why. I do love supernatural stuff too. I know you do. I know. I love it. And I love that she included the elements and the singing and the whole, I mean, it's a whole experience. I love it.
She's just, I mean.
What can't she do? I'm glad she said the sports thing because.
Yeah, she can't. She said no.
She's almost too talented. Next time you guys see us, we may be front row at Dancing with the Stars.
Absolutely. That is an absolute. That is not even like a question mark.
Well,
it's also on Home Team ABC.
It's on Home Team ABC, but I have a question. Will you be sat front row, like wearing jazz shoes, just in case someone falls? I need a quick run on.
Put me in, coach.
Put me in, coach.
Yeah. Did Anna twist an ankle because of that?
Yeah, it's tennis all over again. It's tennis all over again.
Put me in.
You're in the leotard, the sparkles. They're like, why is Jessica dressed to dance? We know why now.
My kids really do want me to go on, but I'm telling you, it's not. It's
not. It's fine. You're giving audience member vibes.
I know what I can and cannot do.
Anyway, thank you guys so much for joining us today. Let's call it
the end of the episode.